was once broken, but now I'm beautiful. I was once a girl who suffered from loneliness, doubt, fear, pain, unforgiveness, and a broken spirit. I was the girl who hid under a mask that I often cried myself to sleep when I was alone. I was once a girl who was desperate for love, real love, but I was blinded by the spirit of lust, leaving me broken and I felt ashamed. I was once broken, but now I'm beautiful. God, my God, He wiped away every tear and gave me strength where I was weak at. He told me that I was His queen, and He created me fearfully and wonderfully made. I was once broken, but now I'm beautiful.
Hello, God's beautiful people. Welcome to Broken into Beautiful. I was once broken, but now I'm beautiful. My name is Marissa Daniel, and I am so excited and so blessed to sit next to a powerful woman of God. Now, I know you've seen this pretty face before. She is one of the hosts of TV1's national talk show, Sister Circle. Not only does she keep you smiling, but she will have you laughing so hard as she travels all over and does her stand-up comedy. Hey, women got jokes too. I met her just a couple months ago, and I said, God, if you can please answer my prayer, I would love for her to be a guest on Broken into Beautiful. And as always, God answers prayers. Ladies and gentlemen, don't change that channel because you are in for a special treat tonight. It is my honor, it is my pleasure to introduce the Miss Kiana Danice.
Hey!
Hey!
That was all for me?
Yes!
Girl, you better read the people. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, beautiful?
I am amazing.
That's great. And welcome to Broken into Beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's such an honor. Thank you so much for
The honor
this.
is actually mine.
Well, as you know, that the show is called Broken into Beautiful, and I did some research on you, and your testimony brought me to tears. Your testimony is a reflection of that word in the Bible, that I can do all things through Christ,
Amen.
who strengthens me.
Come on now.
So if you inspire me, I would love for you to inspire somebody else that's tuning in tonight. Could you share your testimony, how God brought you from brokenness and blossomed you to being absolutely beautiful?
Ooh, heavy, baby. Listen, I'll tell you this. I too have been broken, as we both discussed. First of all, I'm a child molestation survivor. I went through a horrible relationship, although the relationship wasn't an abusive relationship, but the man couldn't keep a job, so I felt abused. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, as a child molestation survivor, and I say survivor because I didn't allow it to hinder me. When you say child molestation, already you can assume that it can affect a child in so many ways. It could have affected how I interacted with men. It could have affected the way that I interact with people, period. Or even how I identify myself or saw myself, or even my self-esteem could have been affected by that. But thank God I had a mother who had enough sense to put me in counseling and therapists, because you know, folks don't like to go see therapists, but when you got a problem, you gotta go sit on somebody's couch. You know what I mean? So my mother made sure that I had everything, all the pieces in my puzzle to make sure that even though at one time I may have been broken, she put those pieces in my life and then put them together so that I can be whole. You understand what I'm saying? So with a lot of prayer, therapy, family covering me and protecting me. Now, I will say this, and I make sure I always say this, even though I was molested, it only happened once. It wasn't a situation that, you know, my mother just threw me to the wolves. I was left with a person who she thought loved me, loved her. It was a guy, her boyfriend at the time that she had been with for many years. So it wasn't like a man who I did not know, you know what I mean? So I said that to say that quite often the predator or the monster is actually somebody you really know. You know what I mean? It can be an uncle, it can be a mother, or it could be a brother, or it could be a father who is doing some harm to your children. So don't all the time be so worried about the people that you don't know. You also need to keep that third eye open for someone you do know. So to answer your question directly, it was, you know, prayer. It was therapy, it was counseling, it was my mother now, you know, just being a little bit more, I won't say a little bit more cautious, because she did everything right. I was sick that day, she left me home, I had a fever, she had to go to work, she trusted him, and I'm not talking about 1 or 2 years, I'm talking about multiple years that this man has been in our family, in our lives. So, you know, I think most importantly, she did everything she could to make sure that as an adult, when I grew up, I had the right pieces to become a whole woman.
Amen.
Amen.
When did you know that you needed to forgive him?
Well, as a child, you really don't understand what is going on. You know what I mean? I had no idea even what that meant. Like I went to, when I did the counseling, we went to court, we did all those things, but I never even allowed it to hinder me. You know what I mean? So as I got older, those are the bags that I decided that I didn't want to carry. Even that, aside from just being a child molestation survivor, I mentioned, being in a relationship. Although my father was in my life, he was in and out of my life. You know what I mean? Like, my father was a summer dad. Like, I would spend summers with my father, but, what was it? Wasn't it summer? August, June through August or whatever, I would see him. But what happened through August through June? You know what I mean? He would be in Cleveland, Ohio. I was in school with my mom here in the South, and he was up north. So that in itself affected a child. You know what I mean? So there was so many things that I needed to do to forgive people around me. I made the decision to let go of all of my baggage, including my broken relationship when I was with my ex for 10 years that did not turn into a marriage. Now, don't get me wrong, people. He did ask. He asked me to marry him multiple times, but I said no. And I said no because I knew that he wasn't the man for me. I felt like and I'm all over the place, but I felt like the reason that he asked me to marry him was because it was out of desperation every time. It was, he knew that I was leaving him, or he lost his job again. You know what I mean? So I'm like, baby, please don't leave me. But I personally feel like the only way that you can move forward is to forgive. And that's the hardest thing to do. To actually have someone, do something to you and it's out of it's malicious. And you just have to let it go, because that baggage is sometimes so heavy. It will hinder your growth, and it will dampen it will literally dim your light, because you're so busy being mad and sad and frustrated, where technically you just need to it's a decision to be happy. You just walk, drop your bags and walk away. I'm not carrying that baggage.
Right. When did you know, because you did talk about your relationship, when did you know that it was time for you to leave him and to focus
you want to know
on
the truth,
you?
Girl? When I showed up at the lady house and he drove my car too, and I was over there with a gas can, now it's time to go. Because I'm either going to be in jail or somebody going to be dead. No. That's a true story, but I decided that once the relationship was becoming to the point where I was having outer body experiences, I was like, girl, you got to go. Like, because anytime you're in a situation where you're not who you are on a normal, regular day, if this person has affected me, or I've allowed this person to put me in a place where I'm so angry, like, I'm so angry for what? Like, I should never allow that to even happen. I should never allow you to take me to a place where I'm not happy or smiling. If the only thing that I'm doing is crying. Because see, I never was in a place where I was sad to be single. Never. But I loved him. I loved him so much I would have married him on a bike with no socks. But I had sense. Right. I knew the man didn't have a job, so you couldn't feed a wife. You gotta feed a wife, sir. Right. You can't just get a wife and then no, you have to be able to feed a wife. And then it's not just about feeding her with food. It's about feeding my spirit. He wasn't there. And me knowing that, and I knew that, so I had to make a decision. So to answer your question, really was when I showed up at the house with the other woman's house with a gas can, and it really was. I said, listen, sir, you better put the keys out this door. You got one or two options. You can put the keys out this door, or somebody gonna burn. And then the keys came out the door. Absolutely. But I don't look good in orange or stripes. And I knew the kind of mama I have, girl, my mother was not gonna come get me out of jail. You understand what I'm saying? So my mother would have been like, oh, so you burning people's houses down? Well, I'll put 10 on it. That's all I got. She'll put 10 on my books, and I'll be like, $10. That ain't what you want. You know what I mean? So I just decided I was not gonna allow any other relationship dictate how happy I will be ever again in life.
Amen.
Ever.
And I learned that lesson just recently. Amen.
It's a hard thing to do. Hard pill to swallow also.
Yes, because I told myself if I act out of character for somebody, then that's not for me. Like that's what you just said. You act out of character if you're not happy, if you're not yourself, this is not for me. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. That's confirmation, right?
It is confirmation. Thank you for that. Now, Sister Circle, you said something that everybody on this earth has dealt with.
Okay, and what is
You
that?
said that at first you didn't think that you were qualified. And my pastor, he always tell us in church that God will put us in a position where we don't feel like we're qualified or that we don't deserve it, to make us know that it's for us because it was written in the book for our lives. So with Sister Circle, when that opportunity came for you, you was like, wait, God, you have Selena Johnson, you got all these big names, me? So can
I think
you
that may be
elaborate?
taken out of context. I mean, I always thought I was deserving. But the thing is, I don't have the social media numbers. I haven't been in the industry as long. So that's what I actually meant. I always knew that I deserved a seat at the table. The idea was, you know, when you Google my name is not one, like I'm not a Grammy nominated artist, or I haven't been on television already, you know what I mean? And I wasn't a quote unquote reality star. I'm a relatively unknown comedian who've been doing things, who've been doing it, you know, in the business, been on television multiple times, but as far as on a panel of panel talk show, I have not been. So mostly, I definitely thought that I deserved to be there. And I should remove the word mostly. I definitely thought I deserved to be there. But it was other people who thought I did not deserve to be there. And the update to that is today was my last day on Sister Circle Live. I made the announcement today on television. And it was a mutual decision for both the show and myself. So God has blessed me with so many so many opportunities. It's been limitless, like unbelievable opportunities for me. I'm doing a new movie called One Crazy Christmas that comes out in December. I just did the comedy tour. They're still doing a comedy tour, Single in the City. I just got back from taping Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud in Montreal. I have done so many amazing things. And this here just has been a launch pad for me. So I'm very blessed and grateful, you know what I mean? And and you never know, I might pop up on TV somewhere else.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, congratulations to all your accomplishments.
Thank you.
And I also remember in your taping of your testimony, you were going to go back to LA. But it's like God told you to stay here.
But you know how God do. God, you know, you be having these long conversations like, Jesus, please. And he be like, ma'am, sit. So every time I tried to go to LA, you know, LA was a situation that never really stuck on me. And don't get me wrong, I love LA. I think the weather is beautiful. The people are amazing. You know, I'll tell you, what worries me the most about LA is them earthquakes. It's too unpredictable. You know what I mean? When is it coming? I need to know. Let me know so I can get up out the place. But I will say this. Every time I tried to go to LA, it was always me planning to go to LA. It was never me hearing God say, go to LA. It was always Kiana said, go to LA. But God didn't say, now. You understand what I'm saying? So every time I tried to go, it was no reason for me to be there because he didn't open the doors that needed to be open for me, nor did he set the platform up for me. You know, so that is how I'm going to go to LA next. When I go to LA next time, it will be God has already rolled out the red carpet. He's already opened the doors for me. He's already told me these are the people that you need to see. These are the people that you need to have meetings with, and this is your platform. I've already said it for you. And I will actually hear him opposed to me hearing me say, well, Jesus, look now, it's happening in LA. You know what I mean? So no, I won't be going to LA until he tells me to go to LA.
Amen.
And that means all the doors of the church are open, the windows are open.
Amen.
Girl, the refrigerator open. Every door in the house is open. You hear me?
Amen.
Come on now.
Amen. Now you are hilarious.
Thank you.
You just keep cracking me up over here.
Okay, thank you.
Now, speaking of that, you are a comedian.
I am.
And you know, I see that you travel all over. I can't wait to go see you one day, and I am gonna go see you one
Right
day.
up the street. I'm the house MC at the Atlanta Comedy Theater in Norcross, right off of Jimmy Carter. I think the address is 4650 Jimmy Carter Boulevard, so in Norcross, Georgia. So anytime you want to come out, just let me know.
Oh yes, I would definitely be there. Yes.
Now don't come down there looking for a whole lot of Lord and praising and God. I cuss a little, but let me tell you how I know the Lord. Trust me. I tell people all the time when you come to my show, you never know what you're gonna get. It may be a completely clean show. It might be a whole show full of foul words. But at the end of the day, I'm a fussing, cussing comedian, but I know the Lord. I know the only way that I'm here is because of him. I know that everybody, here's the thing. God made curse words. You understand what I'm saying? How you sin is how you sin. I might curse, but somebody else might drink. You understand what I'm saying? I might curse, but somebody else might be, I don't know, racist. I might curse, but somebody else. So however you sin is, and that's a conversation you have to have with your Savior. I'm not judging it, but I just think that quite often we get caught up in so many things. But yes, girl, come on down to the comedy show.
Yes, I will be there soon. Now, speaking of comedy, I noticed that a lot of comedians, like Kevin Hart, for instance, they use some of their past experiences in life, some trauma, pain, heartbreak, something that they went through with their parents. They use that as like, laugh at my pain, laugh at my sorrow. Do you do that?
Yes, absolutely. My whole set currently is about my ex. I'm sure he's over it. I was like, listen, but look, he was an athlete. He was supposed to go into the league. He blew out his knee. We didn't get married. We didn't go into the league. So at the end of the day, I'm going to get rich off you. What you don't know, I'm going to get some checks. But no, I do. I use my whole, experience of growing up. My ex and I were together from 19 to 29 for 10 years. So, that's a portion of my life that I can't just erase. That's 10 years. You know what I mean? So, and it was one of my most profound relationships. I was knee deep all in that relationship. So, of course, I'm going to use that as part of my comedy because I think every woman can relate to at one time having her heart broken. Every woman. And aside from every woman, every man can too. Because a woman, depending on who she loves, a woman is in love with a man, so they've been in a relationship together. So at the end of the day, everybody has been in a relationship that has not turned out the way that they wanted to turn out. You understand what I'm saying? So I do use my relationship. I talk about my mother having my little brother when I was 14 years old. I was only child for a long time. And when my mom had my brother, we wasn't planning him. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, well, wait a minute. We were cool without him. So what you mean? She came home and was like, I'm pregnant. I was like, oh, well, I took my birth control. Why you didn't take yours? You understand what I'm saying? What happened? What happened, ma'am? But although I always say this every time, my mother did not, specifically plan my brother, but my brother was one of the greatest blessings in our life. You know what I mean? Like, I always say that the person that I am today has every bit to do with my brother coming into my life, because I changed my behavior all the way down to my brother has never seen me with another guy outside of my ex. You know what I mean? I felt like it was important that he knew that a woman, specifically my household, wasn't supposed to be running around with different men. You know what I mean? So if I introduce you to someone, just like my son, if I had one, it would be, this is an important person. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to randomly introduce you to some dude, So, and I really, the way that I hustle, the way that I handle my business, the way that I make sure he see, and my brother's 26 years old now, but during that time growing up, I needed him to see me pray. I needed him to see me, when I went through whatever emotions, he saw that I cried. He saw that I was strong. He saw the strength, but he also saw me being weak. You know what I mean? So the way that we were raised, it was to hopefully one day have him be the head of someone's household and also to be the strength in that house. So it was important to me that he saw a certain class in me so that when he looks for a mate, he will be able to have someone like, you know what? My sister showed me and my mama showed me what an example of a woman is, and you, not her.
Amen. Yes, okay. Because I said if I ever have a son, you're going to have to raise him because he's going to one day be a husband, a father. Yes. So that is awesome. I totally look up to you, Miss Danice. This is such an honor to have you here on Broken Into Beautiful.
Thank you.
I also want to talk about the single life. Okay. You mentioned also the circle that you are the single one.
I am.
And I'm a single.
At least I was.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
No, was meaning I was on the show, girl. I'm still single. Sorry. Let me tell you something. I'm still single in these streets. Okay, I'm still single in the city. I am.
Okay. Now, what advice would you give to other single women? Well, I'm a single woman. Okay. I'm 29, and I desire marriage. But then I have this show. I have my job that takes a lot of my time. And what advice would you give? Do you suggest that we remain focused and stay hustling like you do, and the right man would come with women who struggle in that area?
That's a really, really hard question, and I haven't necessarily found the right answer. But this is what I will tell you from my experience: date multiples.
Okay.
Date, but just because you date more than one man don't mean he has to touch you. You understand what I'm saying? Date. You should be dating. You should have lunch with one, dinner with another, brunch with another. Let them entertain you. You know what I mean? Spend the time that you need to take care of you. Allow yourself to be, catered to. Allow yourself, because at the end of the day, they should be courting you. And that's a word that a lot of young men don't even, I know old men that don't know the word court. And I'm from the South, so originally I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, but I grew up in the South. So when I say court, I mean pull out the chair. I mean start with me all day. Hey, baby, good morning. How are you? What you up to? Did you eat? See, for me to get my attention is to make sure I'm fed. If you feed me and you take the time out of your day to make sure I ate, or hey, I'm busy. I just want to check on you though. Are you okay? You know what I mean? And that's not, it may be a text, but pick up the phone so I can hear your voice in my ear, sir.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? But you have to set your standards and never ever, ever assume that your standards are too high. If someone say, you want all that? Yep, I do. And then you wait until that sir come around. If that sir never come around, oh well, God, somebody, I don't know what happened to him, but he didn't make it out the chute. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? But what I am going to tell you is do not settle to have a man. Just because you're single does not mean you're broken. Just because you're single does not mean that you're less than, and just because you're single does not mean you're not worthy. At the end of the day, most of the times if you're single, it's because you haven't found someone that reflects who you are. You don't want a man who's not hustling like you're hustling. I always tell guys, like, if I out hustle you, there's a problem. Because if I'm up at 9 or 4 or 5 or whenever it is I gotta get up, you should be up at 9, 4 or 5. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want to bring home more bacon. Now, again, if I bring home more bacon in the household, that's fine. But you should still be trying to provide and cover the household. Now that addresses us being in the same house. But you even gotta get to that situation, so dating, I would say, first of all, we're in a time and place where people don't speak. So I have no opposition with you going online. Because you can weed them out. You meet crazy people at Kroger. You can meet crazy people at Publix. You can meet crazy people at the light. But online, at least you can kind of read through their bio. Now, the bio could be curated. It may not even be necessarily true. But at the end of the day, you can see a picture. You can tell them to meet you in a public place. You can ask him all the questions in his bio. If it don't line up, well, see, your bio say, I feel like somebody lying. You know what I mean? So meet them in a open space, open place. Always let somebody know where you're going. Let your mama know, Mama, I'm going here. And baby, let me tell you, when they pull up, you stay in your car so you can see what kind of car they have. If you can check their license plate, grab that license plate, send it to your mother or your good girlfriend. Because send it to your good girlfriend. Don't send it to your mama. You know what I mean? Because mama done did a whole background check on the man before. But I'm just saying, there's definitely ways to date in this time because I think you're still considered a millennial. It's different, and the older you get, it's harder because people, like my life, 19 to 29, I was in a relationship, right? All my girlfriends was picking stars out the sky. They was kicking it. You understand what I'm saying? New boyfriends, all the experiences they needed to have. And then when I turned 30, I'm not interested in a relationship at all because I was locked down for 10 years. I'm like, party, hey, all this. Whereas my girlfriends, I'm calling my girlfriends, what y'all doing tonight? Girl, we putting the baby down. Goodbye. Because they have kids and they have husbands now. So my life is the opposite of many of my girlfriends. And that's okay too. But I want you to, most importantly, I really want you to take this to heart. Just remember, just because you're single, that does not mean that you're less than. It does not mean that you're not whole. It does not mean that you're not worthy. It just means right now you're single. And in the midst of being single, find something to do. Learn how to bake a cake, roast a chicken. I don't know, find some skills that will make you a very qualified wife. You know what I mean? I don't know what your weakness is. Maybe you don't know how to wash laundry. Do that. So that when you get a husband or a boyfriend and you get to y'all move in that direction, you can fold down some socks. You hear me? You roll some socks.
Well,
right.
I know you guys are watching. I guess I will learn how to cook.
Yeah. Don't put no pressure. Listen, I don't know how to cook that well either, but I do. I look like I cooked it. You know what I'm saying? Yes. The man ain't gonna be hungry. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say find a couple skills. Make yourself better, more desirable. For me, I started going to the gym. And you meet single guys there. But my absolute advice to you will be better you so that you can attract, like basically you better you. It's like you rubbing yourself down in honey. You attract better guys.
Amen.
Come on now.
Now, you just recently went to an event.
I did.
And I saw it on Instagram. She's like, which one?
Which one?
Which one are you talking about? You said something, and I was watching it on my Instagram, and I fell out and laughed.
Which event was that, babe?
You said, ladies, if a man asks you, what can you bring to the table? You tell him that, sir, I am the table. And I laughed because I dated a guy just recently who came at me, and he was older, and he said, what can you bring to the table? And I'm like, excuse me? And I said, okay, now I know what to say for future references.
Did you understand what I meant by that? When you say that you are the table, I mean, physically, the table offers a lot of things. It's flat. You can put things on top of the table. It's sturdy. It's the foundation. You will be the foundation of the relationship. Not only am I going to pray for you, I'm going to pray with, for, and over you. You understand what I'm saying? I may not be able to cook the meal myself, but my mama going to make sure you eat. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I travel. I work a lot. So I always say, when you date me, you get my mama and her crock pot, okay? So you get a whole tribe of people that's gonna be there for you. So I'm the table. I bring something to the table down from my hustle, my business, my prayer, my spirituality. All of that I bring to the table. And a lot of times that can be intimidating to an average guy. So don't be afraid. Don't be surprised when a man was like, ooh, when he run from that. And don't be afraid to tell him what you need and who you are and what you offer. And why he asking what you offer?
Amen.
Come on now. Right? What you mean what I offer? I'm a woman, that for starters. Okay, go ahead.
Amen.
Right.
Now, we're about to go to end this show. I'm having such a blast with you. Miss Kiana, what is your future desires, your goals? You got this movie coming up. You still got your single in the city. You're traveling. God is opening up so many doors and opportunities for you. What is like your heart desire?
You know what? We only got 2 minutes left, so let me just say this. I have always desired to have my own late night talk show. So I would love to have my own late night talk show. I also have a book coming out. It's called Bye Bye Bags, Laughing to Lighten the Load. And this has been, I'm talking about labor. This book has been so hard for me. And the reason I'm saying that is because I've been pouring my whole life into it, whole life. And then every time I read, I want to change something. Writing, it's hard. You know what I mean? And then when you go into editing, you're like, do I really want to say that? So my book will be out in December. The movie's coming out in December. My birthday is in December. I'm going to put it in the world that I'm going to be back on TV by December.
That is awesome.
God is so good. I will be on tour somewhere in the city near you. My website is kianadanice.com. So check me out. Single in the City. We're traveling. We're doing things. And, at the end of the day, I'm just going to be looking pretty and acting funny wherever I am.
Amen. You hear that? Looking pretty and
acting funny.
I love it. I love it. This show was such inspiring. So much, so much wisdom that she poured out to me as well as to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And please don't forget, beloved, you were once broken, but now
you're beautiful.
And blessings to you all for watching. I'm Marissa Daniel.
Long hair, short hair, it doesn't matter.